Coming off his best session in the W15 at Suzuka, Lewis Hamilton has cautioned Mercedes against making too many changes and mess up his weekend of the Japanese Grand Prix. In his last season as a Mercedes driver, Hamilton had his worst start to a season ever, getting no better than 6th in the first 3 races. He revealed in February that he would join Ferrari in 2025. Mercedes should not make too many W15 alterations in the Japanese Grand Prix, according to Lewis Hamilton. When Hamilton's engine failed after just 15 laps of the last race in Australia, he took his season-long stumble to a new low point. This followed the 7-time world champion's elimination from qualifying in the second round, and his admission over the Melbourne weekend that he felt the least confident in the Mercedes vehicle he had ever driven. After starting 6th in FP, only half a second behind Max Verstappen's pace-setting Red Bull, and then moving up to 2nd in the rain-shortened afternoon session, Hamilton had a far better performance on Friday at Suzuka. After the second practice session, Hamilton spoke about how the W15 is in a better position in Japan. He also warned Mercedes against making too many configuration changes, saying it may ruin his weekend. He said, "It was a great session. It was a really good session for us. It was the best session that we've had this year. It's the best the car has felt this year so far. So far, pretty positive. I was really excited because this is a circuit that every driver loves to drive. In the last couple of years, we've had a really difficult car and a difficult balance to drive here. And given the difficult last few races we've had, great work has been done this past week, and we just seem to have hit the ground a bit more in a sweeter spot. So I haven't really made any changes since FP1. I think we've got a better platform or baseline to start from, so as long as we don't make too many changes and mess it up. I think probably just stay where we are and hopefully we'll get a good weekend." Teams are no longer provided with spare tires in the case of a rainy session, according to a regulation change for the 2024 Formula One season, which has led to a significant decrease in FP2 running. The logic of the rule change has been cast into doubt by Hamilton, who has added, "It's a shame we didn't get that FP2 session. They have changed the tire rule, so therefore no one goes out and runs on the intermediate. It just doesn't make sense, really, but there you go." Hamilton withdrew from the Australian big event while battling for the minor points after his engine gave up 17 laps. At the time, Mercedes technical director James Allison labeled it a catastrophic loss, noting there was a rapid loss of oil pressure followed by a shutdown of the engine. The PU was sent to Mercedes' engine factory in Brixworth for investigation, with Motorsport.com saying the Britain's withdrawal was the consequence of a bottom-end failure, which has been traced back to a quality process issue rather than any specific design problem. Such was the issue. The engine has been lost from Hamilton's PU pool, with the 7-time world champion moving on to a 2nd for the season in Japan. With just 8 points after 3 races, Hamilton has had his poorest start to a Formula One season ever, according to statistics. "Of course, we have not started the season where we want to be, and we've got a long way to go," he said in Suzuka. "You have seen in the past, last year for example, just how things can switch in certain teams. If you look at Aston or McLaren last year, who started on the back foot or the other way around. Anything can happen in this sport, so we have just got to learn as much as we can, take as much as we can from the data, remain positive, continue to work hard. I always say it's not how you fall, it's how you get up, so we're going to continue to chase and fight, and hope that we can be fighting at the front at some stage." But despite his minimal points, the Briton insisted he does feel more optimistic about this car, adding, "Obviously, the first couple of races there has been small showings of the car feeling great, and we would have had pace for a moment, and then it kind of disappears. There is definitely performance there, we just need to work on making this car more consistent and easier to drive." What do you think? Is there any chance to see Lewis Hamilton on the podium this weekend? Let us know in the comments down below.